Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Maverick here, and today we're going to be watching the grand finale of A Place Further Than the Universe. So, as with all things, even good things need to come to an end, right? And I will say that I have really enjoyed the series so far, and I am very sad that this is the final episode already. And I mean, I still can't believe that there's no second season for this. Like, there's so much to do, but I've talked about this before, and some of you guys have mentioned that, this series actually did have a good closure to the entire thing, so and adding anything on might just ruin the experience, right? So I guess we can see if that is true in this episode. In the last one, we had this very emotional closure with Shirase, and really it's been following the pattern of each of the girls having their moment of closure through each episode, right? And so now it should be Kimari's turn. I think, although I think her closure would probably occur once she does go back to Japan and maybe recaps what she's done so far, right? Through this past half a year or so, I guess. Is that true or not? I don't know. I was predicting that they would actually start this episode directly back in Japan already. But I look at the initial few seconds and I don't think that to be true. But, oh well, that can still happen later on, right? So, in any case, let us get into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Right, and I know she's not back in Japan because she's still in her jumpsuit. Oh, but they are back at Showa Base, I believe. Mm-hmm. Watched it. Okay. I probably wouldn't translate as watch duty, but basically person on duty. Leaves in 3 days. Sanbaiman? Okay. And cheering on a pokey? Okay. Island stroll? Oh. That's nice. Ah, that seems so fun. Huh. Are we actually gonna end this here? In Antarctica? Shaved cream. I agree. Really? Flowing noodles here? Okay. Probably really cold as well. Yeah. Going back to the real world now. We need to get back to reality, girl. She doesn't want this to end. Ah, so they're coming back for So what do you guys want to do? What? Softball? Okay. Really? Should I say you are way too easily? Is she actually gonna hit it down? Ooh, nice. Run!
今更かよ。切るなら来た時に切っとけばいいのに。なんか切りたくなった。私やる？きまりさんは下がっててください。どのくらい？マジっすか？
Hmm.
いつまでぐずってんだよ。本当にもういなくなるんだぞ。
Oh, this fan?
よし。この旗手作りですか？おお、主品が来た来た。
Okay.
こっち並んで。
How the stress they look. Okay.
お、あれ？どう？似合います？
Ah, it actually does look really good on her.
やっぱり親子ね。笑ったところがそっくり。
Yeah.
何失礼？違いますよ。いやでもある意味そうかも。ある意味って？想像力。わかんない。通常であれば越冬交代式というところですが、今回は交代もありませんので、夏隊の帰還式典とします。では隊長。皆さんお疲れ様です。今朝は天気も良く、旅立ちにふさわしい朝になりました。特に今回は日本で初めて女子高生の観測隊員が南極で過ごしました。それは大きな試みでした。きっと不安だったと思います。私たちも大変不安でした。でも彼女たちは立派に観測隊員をやりきってくれました。あらゆる男性隊員の帰らないでという心の声がうるさいくらいに聞こえます。でも彼女たちは帰ります。諦めてください。最後に、今日までありがとう。向こうに戻ってもたまにでいいので、遠い空の向こう、真っ暗闇の中、黙々と越冬している私たちのことを思い出してください。ここでまた。
14,000 kilometers.
では夏隊代表として小淵沢白瀬さん。はい。
Hmm.
皆さんおはようございます。皆さんご存知の通り、私の母は南極観測隊員でした。南極が大好きで夢中になって家を空けてしまう母を見て、実は私は南極に対していいイメージを持てませんでした。私はそんな自分の気持ちをどうにかしたいと思ってここに来たんだと思います。空よりも遠い場所。お母さん、いえ、母はこの場所をそう言いました。ここは全てがむき出しの場所です。時間も生き物も心も、守ってくれるもの、隠れる場所がない地です。私たちはその中で恥ずかしいことも隠したいことも全部さらけ出して、泣きながら裸でまっすぐに自分自身に向き合いました。一緒に一つ一つ乗り越えてきました。そして分かった気がしました。母がここを愛したのは、この景色とこの空とこの風と
The people.
仲間と一緒に乗り越えられるその時間を愛したんだと。何にも邪魔されず仲間だけで乗り越えていくしかないこの空間が大好きだったんだと。私はここが大好きです。頑張ってください。必ずまた来ます。ここに。
That was a nice speech.
で
And they are off.
はい。おお、作ってくれたんですか？余り物でだけどね。ありがとうございます。これは
Ah, her fan.
これがゆずきちゃんのサイン。アイドルみたいね。何枚くらい売れたんだ？ごちゃごちゃ言うのやめてくれますか？
She's embarrassed.
はい。ドラマ楽しみにしてます。見るの帰ってからですけど。
楽しみにしてくれる人いるんですね。
Well, they're looking for you.
はい。そろそろ時間よ。はーい。元気でね。ありがとうございました。こちらこそありがとう。最初にバンで話した時のこと覚えてる？あの時のあなたたちと話してて、実はすごい勇気が出た。あなたたちの顔見て、絶対中止にできないぞって。なりそうだったんですか？ええ。大人はね、正直になっちゃいけない瞬間があるの。体調のことよろしくお願いします。だって言うようになったね。さあ、乗った乗った。はーい。それとこれ。一緒に越冬させないと母に怒られそうな気がして。でも私はもうなくても平気ですから。
Yeah, she's got her closure.
わかった。
Aww. I know, but seeing them leave actually makes me emotional. Damn. Bye bye. Hmm.
行っちゃった。
すっかり平均年齢上がったな。
長いぞこっから。そっと記した夢、言い訳ばかりして
Sent mail 1.
変わるのが怖くて
I hate having to mute this, but I'm really don't want to be copyright struck because of the song. Huh. Okay. Oh, they finally see the aurora. Ah. Hey, that's the opening scene. Oh, one last outmail.
お母さん。
Ah.
知ってる。あんな明るくないと思うけど。
Okay. It's not gonna get me. I see that there's still more left after this. I'm still waiting for Kimari to get back to Japan. It has to end like that. From now on. There we go. Back in Japan.
決まり。もう一緒にいられないってことですか？逆だよ。一緒にいられなくても一緒にいられる。だってもう私たちは私たちだもん。なんですその名言。日向さんですか？でも悪くないでしょ。やらなきゃいけないことたくさんあるものね。うん。それが終わったらまた旅に出よう。この4人で。この4人でですよ。まあシラスは100万あるし、私も貯金してる。あれはもうない。え？置いてきたの。
You left it there? Wow.
よりも遠い場所に。
This girl.
旅に出。
Welcome back. Hmm. Huh? Really? So that was it. A great ride, definitely, but all good things must come to an end, and that was the ending of this series. And a rather nice ending, I will say, quite inspirational with each of the girls, seeing them a little bit about their life after and the words that they were talking about, and especially ending with Megami there. Like, I don't know what to say about that. It's just, it's funny, but at the same time, it's also, very emotional in a certain way, right? Like her also going out on her journey, not in spite or anything, I should say, but I feel like, this is just my interpretation of it, but for Megami to do this, it's sort of like, okay, so she's bringing herself back to Kimari's level again, so they're equals again, and so they will continue their relationship going forward, right? That's how I interpret that situation anyways. In terms of the actual episode, let's talk about episode 13 first. So, they spent way more time in Antarctica than I originally anticipated. Like I was saying at the very beginning there, I had thought they were going to just completely start the episode back in Japan and then maybe do some flashbacks to talk about the remainder of their time there, right? At the very least, though, they didn't expand too much on Chirasu's story. Like I mentioned last episode, I felt like they ended it at as good a situation as it could have been. Don't overdo it. Just leave the feelings there, leave that resolution, and let it be, right? They didn't go too far back into Chirasu's story, so that's good on them. Now, I will say, however, that I felt like they were kind of driving the, oh, she's her daughter, so she must be like her mother in some sort of way. Like, I feel like they were driving that angle a little bit too much, right? Especially here with still the haircut and then the softball / baseball and whatnot, those kind of things, right? But it didn't make it to be annoying, let's just say. So it was noticeable, like in sometimes in my own head, I'd be thinking like, really, another one of these? But they didn't really overdo it to the point where it got really annoying, right? So I guess all in all, it was fine. Not really much else to talk about in regards to everything that's shown on screen. I guess really, we should just mention the ending words, right? Especially when all four of the main characters, all four of the girls, had their little dialogue at the very end there. Now, honestly, I understand why people think it wouldn't be good to have another season. Really, the entire message that was shown at the very end there is just like, go out, live life, see new things, live life to the fullest. And in a certain aspect, I feel like you can also apply it to watching anime as well, right? So instead of just clinging to the usual, clinging to this series itself, go out and find another thing to watch, right? There's lots of undiscovered good anime out there that could have equally have a impact or as good a story or character interactions and whatnot. So don't just get hung up on this series itself. Explore the wonderful world of anime, right? At least that's how I'm interpreting it in terms of the ending here. Now, of course, the original message, go out, live life and whatnot, that is absolutely true as well. After seeing that ending, it definitely makes one want to go out and just go on an adventure somewhere. Which, to be fair, like, personally, that's something that I've always wanted to do. It's just that it's not really the time to do that anymore, right? I kind of forgot if I mentioned this within this series or not. Oh, actually, I think I did. It was when I was talking about Hinata, right? And that is, if you have the chance, if you're still a student or whatnot, or you're just graduating, do use the chance to take a gap year and just go see the world. Really, just go see the world. It's definitely something that I always recommend people. I always recommend young teens and whatnot, whilst they're still in school. Definitely take this chance to do something that you're really not going to be able to do once you get settled down into work. What else here? Now, I will say, however, I was kind of disappointed that it showed too much of them leaving Antarctica, right? Like the softball and whatnot, and the speech. Yeah, I guess the speech was kind of emotional as well, but I didn't feel too much for it. What I really would have liked to see was to was for it to show a little bit more of their lives after returning back to Japan, right? So this is obviously a life-changing experience for them, and absolutely they've changed as well. They've each, discovered themselves, or had resolutions to their past, and so on and so forth. How did it affect them going forward, right? I feel, at the very end there, we had the dialogue, and that was great and all, but we literally see, like, what, 5 seconds of each of the girls besides Kimari, and I wanted to see more, right? They could have easily made it so, show them, like, what are they up to, what's the new thing that they're challenging, what's their new outlook on life, and maybe just show them even just 30 seconds of it, or maybe even up to a minute if they're feeling generous, right? But 5 seconds, that's really not enough for me, I feel. So if there's anything I was disappointed by for this episode, it would be in that part. Now, for the series as a whole, I've said this before, but this is definitely one of my favorites for now. Like, I'm not gonna say it's like my top 10 anime ever, but top 5 anime ever. Top 10, I don't think so. I haven't really, made this list, but, from intuition, I don't feel like it's that. But it's definitely something that I will highly recommend to anyone who wants to go into the series, who wants to go into this sort of genre, or just looking for a good anime in general to watch, right? It's definitely one of my favorites. And actually, it turned out a lot more different than what I imagined and expected, right? I was actually thinking, since this is a cute girls doing cute things genre type of thing, I thought it would go maybe more of the Girls and Panzer route, where, even though it's cute girls doing cute things, they're actually dropping some very hardcore knowledge and being very serious about the whole matter, right? So we did go through a little bit of the training and the steps that they made to reach this point and so on and so forth, but I was expecting a lot more, let's just say. I thought that they were actually going to really go through each of the single steps, like what they were doing, even talk about like what kind of different scientific observations or experiments that they were carrying out there, and maybe some backstory, some references to that as well. Not really that much, actually. In the end, this turned to be a series that focused way more on the character interactions, particularly in terms of friendship and support and whatnot, and to be fair, it portrayed it in a very realistic way, right? So that's why I felt that it was something that I could relate to, in fact, as well. Even though, when a coming of age story is done very well, it just makes you, if it's particularly for me, who's way past that age in my life, it makes you reminiscent, right? And it makes you rule the time when you could have done that. Actually, it makes you think back to your youth and so on and so forth, right? The concept of seishun, youth, it definitely was embodied very, very well in this anime. It's honestly a shining example, I'll say. Now, I really do wish that this series could have been longer. I feel like if they added the more serious and hardcore elements that I was talking about, they could have easily stretched this to a 24 episode anime. Keeping all the interactions as well, but just maybe showing a little bit more of their time together and how they achieved various different things, right? So here, the very interactions we see mostly deal with them helping each other deal with their problems, right? But we could have also had an opportunity to see them work together. We did see them work together a bit, particularly the episode, or the one event that stands out to me would be the part where they were doing their training and they were using a compass and whatnot, and they each had their strengths and weaknesses, and they all work together to complete the training course. We could have seen a lot more of that in the actual conditions as well. So, yeah, I wish this could have been longer in its initial setting. Right now, though, particularly with this kind of ending, if you ask me, do I want a second season of this? I would actually say no. Honestly, as much as I do like the series, as much as I love the series, I have to say, with that kind of ending and with the message being said there, I feel like it would be kind of lessened and destroyed if there was a second season with these exact same four people, right? Now, of course, you could always have a spin-off story, maybe some other girls who are doing something similar and within the same universe and whatnot, right? And I feel like that could kind of work, right? But with this ending here, with the message at the end, if you were to say, do I want a second season with these exact girls, even if they were doing something else, like going to the winter camp or going to the Arctic or, heck, going to the Himalayas or something, as much as I want it, you know, I would have to say no, right? It's a really peculiar thing, right? On one hand, I really, really want it, and on the other hand, I don't want it. I'm sure that a lot of you guys will probably understand what I'm saying right here. But yeah, that's basically it. So, that was my review of episode 13, as well as the entire series of A Place Further in the Universe. Great anime, great recommendation. And yeah, like I said at the beginning, you know, it's definitely a series where I feel I would be very crestfallen once it's actually ended, and that is true, right? However, you know, as the message of the series goes, there's plenty of other good anime out there, right? In fact, I'm thinking to substitute this, now that this series has ended. Another thing that's in sort of the same genre, you know, cute girls doing cute things. I have my eyes on Yu Camp, actually. Particularly with the next season and with Heya Camp also, even though that's a short, with that being out as well. So I have to think about it. I haven't completely decided on my schedule for 2020 winter, but it'll be out in these coming few days, right? So anyways, thank you guys for coming along the ride. Feel free to check out my other works as well, and hopefully I will see you guys also somewhere else. See you guys later. Bye bye.